All right, so today we're going to dive into real estate investment,
Okay.
and specifically, we're going to be talking about building apartments.
Okay.
So, you've been looking into this,
I have.
and we are going to unpack a case study today
Excellent.
that will give you a solid framework for evaluating these kinds of projects.
All right, I'm ready.
So let's just get started.
Okay.
This case study,
Yeah.
it really highlights a common pitfall
Oh, really?
that developers often fall into.
Yeah.
And that is getting so focused on potential profit margins
Oh,
that
yeah.
they overlook some really crucial financial factors.
Right, right.
So that's what we're going to dig into today.
Okay.
So have you been wrestling with this question? Is it really worth it
Oh, yeah.
to build an apartment building?
It's a big question.
Because it's a huge commitment.
It is.
So how do you even begin to figure that out?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's where the beauty of a thorough financial evaluation really comes in.
For sure.
This case study that we have,
Yeah.
it's going to provide a toolkit of techniques
Okay.
and approaches
All right.
that can really help answer that question.
Okay, great.
So before we even get into the nitty-gritty of spreadsheets and all that,
Sure.
let's just think big picture for a second.
Okay.
We're seeing similar trends in major cities all over the world.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Think about places like New York or London,
Right.
even booming tech hubs in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
Land prices are insane.
Correct.
Traffic is a nightmare.
It's awful.
And more people are choosing apartment living
Absolutely.
because of the convenience.
Makes sense.
So this case study underscores
Yeah.
how dense urban environments
Uh-huh.
really create a huge need for apartments
Right.
because of those factors.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we know the demand is there,
Okay.
but how do we figure out if a specific project makes financial sense?
Right.
Time to crunch some numbers.
That's right.
There are specific financial evaluation tools that are particularly important for real estate.
Yeah.
Especially ones that consider the time value of money.
Right.
Time value of money.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, it's actually a pretty straightforward concept.
Okay.
Money today
Uh-huh.
is worth more than the same amount in the future.
Oh, okay.
Think about what you could buy with, say, $1,000 5 years ago
Yeah.
versus what it buys you now.
Inflation.
Exactly.
Things get more expensive.
Everything.
So how does this apply to real estate?
Well, when you invest in an apartment building,
Okay.
you've got construction costs up front,
Right.
but then your rental income will come in over many years.
Over time.
So the time value of money helps us compare those cash flows accurately.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are these tools that can help us see the whole financial picture?
Well, one of the most important is net present value, or NPV.
Yeah.
It tells us if the project's future cash flows, like rental income, are worth more today than the initial investment,
Okay.
taking into account things like inflation.
And the cost of capital.
Okay.
This case study even uses a common real estate structure.
Oh, okay.
70% bank financing
Yeah.
and 30% equity.
So with 70% financing, you'd only need to put down 30% of your own money
Exactly.
to get the project going.
Leverage is a powerful tool in real estate.
Okay.
But back to NPV.
All right.
A positive NPV suggests the project could be profitable,
Uh-huh.
while a negative one is a warning sign.
Okay.
It's basically saying, is this project going to make you more money than you put in,
Okay.
considering the time value of money?
Got it.
So,
NPV helps us see the overall potential.
yes.
What's next?
Next up is internal rate of return, or IRR.
Okay.
This tells us the project's potential profitability as a percentage.
Uh-huh.
So it answers the question, is the project exceeding the minimum return investors are expecting?
Okay.
This is where our case study gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears.
The IRR calculation here really highlights how crucial it is.
To compare the project's potential return to the cost of capital.
Okay.
If the IRR is higher than the cost of capital,
Uh-huh.
it indicates the project is likely a good investment.
Okay.
The case study actually walks us through those calculations,
Right.
showing us how to apply them to any potential project.
All right. So NPV gives us a sense of the overall value.
Right.
IRR gives us a percentage return.
Yes.
Anything else we need to consider from a financial perspective?
We've got one more tool in our toolkit.
Okay.
It's a simple but powerful one,
Right.
the benefit-cost ratio.
Okay.
It simply asks, does the total benefit of this project outweigh the cost?
Okay.
It's a great way to see if the potential rewards align with your investment goals.
So that brings us back to our listeners' core question, is it really worth it?
Exactly.
But before we get too excited,
Yeah.
we need to address the elephant in the room.
Oh.
Real estate investment,
Mm-hmm.
while potentially very rewarding,
Yeah.
always carries inherent risks.
Risks.
The R word.
Everyone's favorite topic, right? But seriously,
Yeah.
it's impossible to ignore the risks involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's crucial to be aware of potential pitfalls.
Okay.
For example, bureaucratic processes,
Oh, yeah.
particularly when it comes to building permits,
Mm-hmm.
can create huge delays.
I've heard some nightmares
Oh, tell me about it.
about permitting.
I remember hearing about a developer in Italy
Okay.
who had to wait years to get approval
What?
because they discovered ancient Roman ruins on the site.
Oh, no.
Talk about a historical holdup.
Oh, my goodness.
And these delays can turn into very real financial setbacks.
Absolutely.
And that's why this case study emphasizes the importance of sensitivity analysis
Okay.
and scenario analysis.
Right.
These techniques help us see how various factors, like changes in sales prices
Okay.
or interest rates, could impact a project outcome.
So it's more than just plugging numbers into a spreadsheet and hoping for the best.
Yeah, you got to be prepared for the unexpected.
Gotta think ahead. Absolutely. Smart investors anticipate potential challenges
Okay.
and understand how their project would fare under different conditions.
Makes sense.
The case study actually outlines 3 scenarios.
Oh, okay.
Optimistic,
Okay.
probable,
Uh-huh.
and pessimistic.
So it gives us a range.
Example outcomes. It's like having a financial weather forecast for your project.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So did the apartment project in this study actually turn out to be financially viable?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And the answer, based on their meticulous analysis,
Yeah.
is a resounding yes.
Really?
Even under less than ideal conditions.
Wow.
Their projections showed positive NPV,
Okay.
IRR,
Uh-huh.
and a benefit cost ratio greater than 1.
So it wasn't just luck.
No.
They had a solid plan and they did their research.
I did their homework.
That's great.
The developers in this study were incredibly thorough.
Okay.
They analyzed costs down to the penny.
Wow.
They projected sales realistically
Nah.
and accounted for potential risks.
So this is a fantastic example of how a well-executed financial evaluation
Yes,
can lead to success in real estate.
absolutely.
That's really inspiring.
Yeah.
It's clear the real estate investment isn't just about gut feelings.
It's about research,
Yeah.
careful planning,
Uh-huh.
and using the right financial tools to make smart decisions.
And here's a final thought.
Okay.
While this case study focused on a specific project,
Right.
the principles and tools discussed apply globally.
That's right.
So think about your local real estate market.
Yeah.
What factors could impact a similar apartment project in your area?
Good question.
What kind of returns could you expect?
It's all about applying these concepts to your unique context.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
Seems we've given our listeners some homework to do.
a little bit.
This deep dive is just the beginning
That is.
of your real estate investment journey.
That's right.
There's always more to explore.
Absolutely. And that's what makes real estate so fascinating.
Yes.
And dynamic.
It is.
There's always something new to learn and discover.
Let's take a quick pause here.
Okay.
We'll be right back to delve even deeper into the world of real estate investment.
Sounds good. So, thinking about your local market,
Yeah.
it brings up another critical aspect
Oh.
highlighted in the case study.
All right.
Understanding the regulatory landscape.
Oh, yeah?
We talked about those permitting nightmares.
Yeah.
And believe me, they're not unique to any one place.
Right?
Regulations, they're like a box of chocolates.
Oh, yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
That's the truth.
I once heard about a developer in the U.S.
Oh, really?
had to halt construction
Why?
because a rare species of frog was discovered on the property.
A frog.
Yeah, talk about unexpected.
Oh, my goodness.
Suddenly, they were dealing with environmental regulations they never anticipated.
Oh, wow.
Unforeseen regulatory hurdles that can pop up anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
This case study digs into the specific rules and regulations that impact apartment construction,
Uh-huh.
like zoning laws, building codes, and environmental regulations.
So it's a good reminder
Yeah.
that a great idea and a solid financial plan
Yeah.
are just the starting point.
The beginning, one of the biggest takeaways
Yeah.
is that understanding the regulations early on
Okay.
can save you a lot of headaches.
Yeah.
And even more importantly,
Okay.
a lot of money
Right.
down the line.
Right. So it's like planning a road trip.
Exactly.
You wouldn't just set off without checking for road closures and delays.
You got to do your research.
Yeah.
Due diligence.
Due diligence.
It's all about minimizing surprises later on
Right.
that could derail your project.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Think about hidden easements.
Okay.
lead-ins on the property,
Uh-huh.
even zoning restrictions that might limit what you can build.
Okay. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
getting a car history report before you buy a used car.
Exactly.
You want to make sure there are no hidden problems.
Yeah. You got to know what you're getting into
Yeah.
from a legal perspective.
Right.
Once you've got a clear picture of the property itself,
Okay.
then comes the fun part,
Oh.
dealing with the local authorities.
Oh, yeah.
This is where those permitting nightmares
Yeah.
often come into play.
Oh, it's like a universal rite of passage for developers.
It really does feel that way sometimes.
It does.
The case study outlines the requirements for things like building permits,
Okay.
environmental approvals,
Mm-hmm.
even connecting to utilities.
Yeah.
And yes, there's often a mountain of paperwork.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
The case study makes a really important point, though.
Okay.
Having a crystal clear understanding of the process
Uh-huh.
and submitting all the required documents on time
Right.
can significantly speed things up.
So organization is key.
It's about being organized, detail-oriented,
Okay.
proactive.
So it's not just filling out forms.
No.
It's about understanding the process,
Yes.
the timelines.
The expectation. And it goes beyond paperwork, too.
Okay.
Building relationships with the relevant officials,
Right.
understanding their perspective,
Mm-hmm.
that can make a huge difference.
So a little diplomacy goes a long way.
And a lot of patience.
Yeah.
It's about being a good communicator,
Okay.
a problem solver.
Yeah.
The case study even suggests
Okay.
having a dedicated project manager
Oh.
or legal counsel to handle these aspects.
It sounds like having the right team
Yeah,
is essential.
you got it.
Yeah.
Speaking of teams,
Yeah.
the case study emphasizes another legal area
Okay.
that's often overlooked.
All right. What's that?
The importance of having rock-solid contracts
Oh, yeah.
with all the parties involved.
Right. Because a construction project
Yeah.
involves a lot of different people.
A whole ecosystem.
Architects, engineers, contractors, suppliers.
Exactly.
It takes a village.
Clear, legally binding agreements are crucial
Yeah.
to prevent disputes
Yeah.
and ensure everyone's on the same page.
Right. So it's about protecting yourself legally
Yes,
and setting clear expectations from the start.
precisely.
Yeah.
The study even delves into specific clauses
Oh, wow.
that should be included in these contracts,
Right.
such as payment terms,
Right.
deadlines,
Mhm.
even procedures for resolving disagreements.
So it's a great resource
Yeah,
for developers to avoid legal headaches.
absolutely.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey.
It has.
We've covered so much.
We have
Financial analysis,
risk assessment,
regulatory hurdles.
legal intricacies.
That's a lot.
It's been a pleasure to explore these concepts with you.
Me too.
I hope our listeners feel empowered
Yeah.
to approach real estate investment with a more informed and strategic mindset.
This deep dive has been packed with valuable insights.
Yeah, it has.
The principles we've discussed, they can be applied to projects all over the world.
Anywhere.
U.S., Europe,
It doesn't matter.
the fundamentals remain the same.
And here's one final takeaway.
While the numbers are crucial,
Yeah.
real estate development is ultimately about creating spaces for people,
Oh, that's a good point.
understanding their needs and aspirations.
Yeah.
It's just as important as mastering spreadsheets.
So it's about finding that sweet spot
Exactly.
where financial viability meets human-centered design.
That's the key to creating successful and impactful real estate projects.
What a great point.
Yeah,
This has been an incredible deep dive.
it has.
And I want to thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there,
Yeah.
keep those questions coming.
We love them.
We're always excited to dive deep into your world.
That's right. Oh, the bureaucratic jungle. It's always an adventure.
Yeah.
But beyond just the anecdotes and the stories,
Right.
this case study provides a really practical look at the legal and administrative steps involved
Uh-huh.
in building an apartment building.
All right, so let's map out this jungle.
What are some of the key legal steps developers need to take?
Well, first things first, you got to make sure your foundation is solid.
Okay.
And that means having all your ducks in a row
Uh-huh.
when it comes to property ownership and titles.
Okay.
The case study really stresses the importance of due diligence.
Due diligence.
Yeah.
What does that involve?
It's all about minimizing surprises
Okay.
that could derail your project later on.
Right.
Think about hidden easements,
Uh-huh.
liens on the property,
Okay.
or even zoning restrictions
Right.
that might limit what you can build.
So it's kind of like getting a car history report
Exactly.
before you buy a used car.
You want to make sure there are no hidden issues.
Right. You don't want any surprises.
Exactly. You need to know what you're getting into.
Okay.
From a legal perspective.
Right.
Once you've got a clear picture of the property itself,
Okay.
then comes the fun part.
Uh-oh.
Dealing with the local authorities.
Oh, yeah, the permitting process.
Oh. This is where those permitting nightmares often come into play.
Oh, it's like a universal rite of passage.
It really feels that way sometimes.
It does.
The case study outlines the requirements for things like building permits, environmental approvals, even connecting to utilities.
Yeah, all that stuff.
And yes, there's often a mountain of paperwork involved.
Well, I bet.
But the case study makes a really important point here.
Okay.
Having a crystal clear understanding of the process and submitting all the required documents on time can significantly speed things up.
So being organized is key.
It's about being organized, detail-oriented, and proactive.
So it's not just about filling out forms.
No, it's about understanding the process.
Yeah.
The timelines, the expectations. Yeah. And it goes beyond paperwork, too.
Oh, really?
Building relationships with the relevant officials, understanding their perspectives, that can make a huge difference.
So little diplomacy goes a long way.
And a lot of patience.
Yeah.
It's about being a good communicator. A problem solver. The case study even suggests having a dedicated project manager or legal counsel to handle these aspects.
So it sounds like assembling the right team is really essential for navigating this whole process.
Speaking of teams, the case study emphasizes another legal area that's often overlooked. The importance of having rock-solid contracts.
Oh, yeah. Contracts are key.
With all the parties involved.
Right, because construction projects involve so many different people.
A whole ecosystem of players.
Architects, engineers, contractors, suppliers.
Exactly.
It takes a village.
Clear, legally binding agreements are crucial.
Yeah, to avoid disputes.
To prevent disputes.
Right, and make sure everyone's on the same page.
And ensure everyone is on the same page.
So it's about protecting yourself legally.
Yes.
And setting clear expectations from the outset.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The study even delves into specific clauses. Oh, wow.
That should be included in these contracts.
Okay, like what?
Such as payment terms, deadlines, even procedures for resolving disagreements.
So it's a great resource for developers to avoid legal headaches.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has been incredible.
It has.
We've learned so much about real estate development.
I hope our listeners feel empowered to approach real estate investment with a more informed and strategic mindset.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This deep dive has been packed with valuable insights.
For sure.
And the principles we've discussed.
Right.
They can be applied to projects all over the world.
Anywhere.
It doesn't matter the location.
The fundamentals remain the same.
And here's one final takeaway.
Okay.
While the numbers are crucial, real estate development is ultimately about creating spaces for people.
It is.
Understanding their needs and aspirations is just as important as mastering spreadsheets.
Absolutely.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Where financial viability meets human-centered design.
That's the key to creating successful and impactful real estate projects.
Such a great point.
Yeah.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
And I want to thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for tuning in.
Keep those questions coming.
We're always excited to dive deep into your world.